Hi guys, I'm here today to do my February wrap up and my March TBR. Now in the month of February I read 2 novellas and 14 novels, which I'm quite proud of because that is one book every 2 days, which is quite good because I had a really busy month doing loads of other things as well. So to be able to still read that many is really exciting. And I think so far I've read 34 books out of the 250 that I set myself a goal of reading this year. So I'm kind of a little bit behind, but I'm more on track than I thought I would be at this point, so that's really exciting. I'm going to show you some of my highlights of the books I've read this month. I can't show you all of them because some of them were on my Kindle and some of them were library books, and it's just a bit of a faff to show you those. And obviously the library books are now back at the library, and then I'm just going to show you kind of a stack of books I really want to get read in March. So let's get started, otherwise we'll be here forever. So the first book that I read this month, or I don't know if it was the first book I read this month, but it was definitely my favourite book that I read this month. Did I read this month, or did I read it last month? Whenever I read it, I loved it. I'm sure it was this month I read it, and it's Tethers by Jack Croxall. If I didn't read it this month, then I definitely bought it this month, and I read it in paperback this month. Anyway, I love this book so much, and this is my favourite book of the month, of the year so far, and I think this is going to be a very, very, very big contender for my favourite book of the year completely. So if you haven't read this book, then I think at the moment it is still free on Amazon to download on your Kindle, so run to Amazon quickly and get it because you will not regret it. I absolutely adore this book, and Jack is just a fantastic author and is a lovely person, and you are just guaranteed to be super excited when you read this book. The next book that I read this month is called Unravelling Oliver by Liz Nugent, or Nugent. I'm still not quite sure how to pronounce her surname. This was a bit different to how I was expecting it to be. It kind of took on a whole different slant on the story that I thought it was going to take, and it was quite interesting to see because it was split through so many points of view. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It wasn't what I was hoping for, but it wasn't too much of a letdown, to be honest. It was different from what I was hoping, but it wasn't too different that I really hated it. So if you like kind of psychological thrillers, if you like things like perhaps The Silent Wife, you would probably really like this book as well. So that was that second book I read. Then I also read this month The League of Sharks by David Logan. This was quite an interesting book. I'll leave all the reviews in the description box below. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars again. It wasn't quite what I was expecting, but it wasn't a letdown at all. It was certainly exciting, and I'm really looking forward to the second novel in the series, which I think is coming out later this year or maybe next year. So if you like YA and you like kind of fantasy about otherworldly creatures, then you will really enjoy this book. Another book I read this month was The Sentinel by Holly Martin, which I absolutely adored as well. Holly is a fantastic author, she's a really great friend, and this book is so super good, and the sequel to the next one in the series is coming out soon, called The Prophecies. If you like kind of fantasy and YA fiction, then you will love this book. You will love it. I loved it. And then another book I read this month, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars to, and it was probably like my favourite chick litty women's fiction, contemporary fiction book that I read this month, and it is The Dead Wife's Handbook by Hannah Beckerman. I absolutely adored this book. I struggled with it a little bit in the beginning, but as it went on, it just became more and more kind of, what's the word? I just kind of found it really emotionally it involved me really heavily in the emotion, and as I went on it just became so heavy, and like I got so lost in the world of the characters that I just couldn't not give it 5 stars because I just enjoyed it so much. And I'm also really lucky because I have a signed copy, which is always really exciting when I have signed copies of books. It makes me so happy. So definitely read this, and especially if you like anything that's kind of a bit like, if you like The Husband's Secret or The Ancient Number 33 by Polly Williams, then you will definitely love this book. It's super good. It's a little bit sad, a little bit happy. It's all got so many emotions in it, but it's definitely worth reading if you love that kind of genre of fiction. My words aren't coming out today at all. And then the last book that I read this month, or the book that I've just finished reading, is Looking for Alaska by John Green. And as you can see, I went a little bit post-it note happy. And I've highlighted quite a lot of my favourite quotes in this book. This was a reread. I've already read it before, but I wanted to reread it again this month, and I just completely fell in love with it all over again, and there was tears all over again, and it's really hard because I want to review this book, but the thing is, I don't feel like there's words that I can use to describe John Green's books because they're so superior to so many other books that I read that it's just kind of impossible to describe how amazing they are because my words won't ever do it justice. But yeah, definitely, if you've never read any John Green before, then you must read Looking for Alaska. And if you've only read The Fault in Our Stars, then also read Looking for Alaska, because you will absolutely adore this book. I love this book so much. Then at the moment, I am reading, or these are the books that I didn't get to finish in February. At the moment, I'm reading this one, which is called My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. You might have seen this in my weekly wrap-up video last week or the week before. I've only got a tiny bit of the way into it. I'm only on page 32. And I'm really looking forward to continuing this. This is just kind of like a happy YA romantic fiction book, and it's one of those ones that you can kind of read quite quickly and just kind of flip it in and out of when you aren't reading other things. And then last night I got so excited because I started The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey, and I am on page, I'm not very far at all, I'm on page 4 so far, and I'm just so excited about continuing with this. This is going to be probably my book of the month, and it will be the first book that I finish this month, so I'm really excited about this one. Now, my March TBR pile is huge because basically it's all the books that I haven't read so far is my TBR pile, but these ones I'm going to show you now are the books I'm desperate to read this month that I really want to get read. So the first one I want to read this month is A Shock of the Fall by Nathan Filer, or Filler, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his surname. I did talk about this in my weekly wrap-up a couple of weeks ago as well. Really want to read this. It looks so good, and the storyline is supposed to be really good, and obviously it won the Costa Book Award, so it's a good book, so I really want to get around to reading this soon, and I might make it my next read after The Fifth Wave. I also want to get this book read, which is Cinder by Marissa Mayer. My friend Megan and I wanted to read this together because she's got a copy and I've got a copy, and we both are desperate to read it, so we're hoping to get around to doing it this month. And it's not too long either, it's quite short, and it's, you know, it's YA fiction, so I should be able to read it quite quickly, so I'm going to try and make sure I get around to this one really soon. I also want to read More Than This by Patrick Ness, which again, if you watched my unboxing haul, you would have seen I got this. I really want to read this. I just think it's such a beautiful book, and I really want to get into the world of Patrick Ness and his writing, so I'm really hoping that this month will be the month that I can get around to this one. Then I want to read these books which arrived this week, so if you watched my weekly wrap-up yesterday, then you'll have seen these. The first one is Bad Brides by Rebecca Chance. I really wanted to read this book, and I didn't actually think I was going to get a copy of it from the publishers, but it came unsolicited, and I'm so excited to read it, and I really want to get this read because it's published this month as well, so I will definitely have a review for that one when it is published. Then I want to read A Kiss in the Dark by Kat Clark, which I think is published in April, but I definitely want to read that this month. It's one of these books that I really can't wait to read, and I think I might put it right near the top of my TBR pile because it just sounds so compelling and exciting, and oh, I just want to read it, and the cover makes me so happy. I think it's beautiful. And then the next one that I want to read this month is The Best Thing That Never Happened to Me by Laura Tate and Jimmy Rice. Again, this was sent to me this week, and is a book that I've been wanting to read for a while, and again wasn't a book that I thought I would get. It was unsolicited, so really excited about reading this one. I'm sorry that I'm talking so fast, but I really don't want to make this video really long. And then also, 2 books that I want to read this month. Because I reread Looking for Alaska, I really want to read 2 more John Green books this month because I'm having a massive John Green book binge. I'm just wanting to read all of his books. So I definitely want to read Paper Towns this month, and I haven't actually read this book before, so I really want to get around to reading it. And I absolutely love the cover of this, actually. It's so pretty and shiny and sparkly and bumpy and lovely, so really want to read this one this month. And also this month I want to read Will Grayson by John Green and David Leviathan, because this I've never actually read this one before either, and I got this as a Christmas present, so I really want to get around to reading this one as well. So hopefully I can make my way through all of those, and I've also got a few other books I need to read for blog tours and for reviews I need to get around to reading as well, so hopefully I can read all of these books in March. I'm hoping to get about 20 books read in March. I don't know if that's a bit too optimistic, but I'm hoping that if I just get my head down and read as much as I can, then I will be able to get through all of my big piles of books. So I hope that you've enjoyed watching this video. I'm really sorry for it being so fast and not very in detail, but I don't want to make a really long video because it could be quite boring just listening to me talk about books for so long. So let me know in the comments below what you want to read this month, whether any of the books that I've shown you are books that you want to read this month, whether you've read Paper Towns or Will Grayson, or if you've read Cinder by Marissa Mayer. Let me know, because I really want to kind of know which order to read them in and which order most people are excited about hearing about them in. Also this month I want to make it my goal to upload at least 1 review video a week, and I'm also going to make it my goal to do a weekly wrap up each week. So if there's any books that you want me to review, specifically do a video review, then let me know in the comments below, and I will try and make sure I do that. And if there's any other videos that you want to see, I will also try and make those this month. There was one request for a video, somebody wanted me to talk about what I'm writing in my own novel, so I'm definitely going to make a video about that, and that will hopefully be up next week. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you have a really lovely month, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!